Right, good morning boys and girls. Welcome back to the prep series. It has been a couple of weeks and you join me right as I am just preparing my pre-workout cream of rice. I mean that literally looks like someone's been sick in a bowl. But trust me, once it's all mixed up, it's pretty good. Yeah, been a couple of weeks since I've uploaded a YouTube video and kind of this more vloggy style, whatever you want to call it, documenting my first natural bodybuilding prep, let's call it what it is. Reason being, I was on a stag do last weekend, which I know is probably quite strange to hear for some people, like not really something you typically associate with bodybuilding or prep especially, but as I said in the last video, I'm of the opinion that just because you're doing something, it shouldn't take away from all other aspects of your life. And for me in particular, got some very close friends, my closest friends to be honest, getting married this year, and I don't want to be missing out on things. And I mean, as you can imagine, that was quite a difficult circumstance to navigate, but we did the best with it. Safe to say that the hotel room fridge was stocked up with pre-cooked chicken and rice, which yeah, went down just beautifully, and definitely didn't get me taken the piss out of by the rest of the lads. But it is what it is. You know, if you want to isolate yourself and just be like a robot throughout prep, that's fair enough, if that's how you function. For me, that's not who I want to be. I don't want this sport to take away from my life. I want it to add to my life. So we do what we need to do. Anyway, we are going into Corpus today to hit legs. Very excited. I've been fighting a little bit of a cold all week, as you can probably kind of tell in my voice. It could be me being an absolute melt. I'm not very good at being ill. I'll be the first to admit that. I definitely have like severe cases of man flu. But it's been persistent this week. And it's not really affected training that much. I've been still going into the gym, still getting my sessions done. However, today's legs, and it's always a bit more of a taxing session for me. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we're gonna mix all this together. It's gonna look like an eaten mess in a minute. Just got some peanut butter in there. Get it down and get to the gym. I think today's video is gonna be more simplistic. We're gonna kind of cut it down a bit. So it's probably just gonna go from this here into the session. We'll talk a bit maybe post-session about my thoughts and feelings on prep so far, how everything's been going. And yeah, just take it from there. See you guys in the gym.
That's fucking beast.
Come on!
Oh, yes, again. Let's go. Come on.
Oh yes!
Who are you? Come on. Up. Oh, yeah. Tiny little foot.
Right, you rejoined me a little bit after the gym actually, because we had to be on boyfriend duties. We had to take Izzy. Izzy's gone to London today to see some friends, so we had to do a taxi service for the girlfriend. But you joined me after what is the best leg session, lower body session that I've had in recent memory. No issues with the knee, PRs pretty much across the board. And to be honest, I was absolutely buzzing after that session. Like, I knew going in today, I even said to Verity in the gym when I got there that I kind of had the fear, which does happen from time to time for me. I get, quite an anxious response to knowing that I'm going to be putting my body through quite a strenuous session, and that seems to flare up every lower body session. Today, I knew there was something different in the air. I knew that I could push myself a bit further, and that's exactly what we achieved. Really, really happy with today's session, to be honest, especially, 3 weeks into prep. Not that that's fucking drastic, but amazing result. We've just been to Aldi, got ourselves a little bit of a shop, the basics, stocked up on frozen raspberries because Zach says that there's a national shortage. Load of bollocks, he just doesn't know where to shop. The crisp rice. We've been spending an absolute fortune on the real shit, that good stuff, that Kellogg's branded Rice Krispies, and it is, I will say there is a big difference, but I mean, we can even do a cross comparison between the two. But £4.30, I think 75p. It's time to make grown-up decisions. Anyway, I thought I would just take a quick opportunity before closing this video off, just to sort of go through, I suppose, my thoughts and feelings 3 weeks into prep. What's been difficult, what's been easy, and just my general thoughts towards the whole process as a first timer. And there's not too much to report. 3 weeks in, we're smooth, we're sailing, everything's moving in the right direction. We've dropped about 8 pounds of body weight, and that definitely shows in the visuals. I'm very pleased with how I'm looking so far, and if anything, it's kind of flicked that lighter of ambition a little bit. Going into my first competitive season, I've really got no idea as to how I'm going to perform when I'm in a lineup with other guys, and even just when I get down to those body weights, like, how well is my body going to retain muscle mass? How good is my posing going to be? How confident am I going to present on stage? These are all things that we just don't have an answer for at this point. But the first 3 weeks and how my body's responded to those 3 weeks is putting me in a much more positive mindset and a much more excited mindset towards the potential prospects of competing and what that could look like. Yeah, with competing in bodybuilding, it still feels a bit like a dream, but one that's very quickly turning into reality, and I'm very happy that is the case and feeling good about that. So I guess more onto like the realities of prep and what has been tough so far, I can't complain too much. Food is not low. It's just under 3,000 calories a day. Steps are at 10,000 a day. So really not too rigorous of a process right now. However, I will say I have been getting hungry, and I don't know why. I think in the bodybuilding scene, there's this whole like, you know, push your feelings down and like ignore the fact that you're hungry. It's only a distraction. But I am fucking hungry. And me and Izzy were in a cafe the other day, and I was just looking at these cinnamon buns like I would love to have one of those right now. But nothing too crazy. So that's the only thing that I've really faced in terms of a challenge. And the way I'm coping with it at the minute is just acknowledging it. I'm not trying to push it away. I'm not trying to be like, oh, fuck that, bro. I'm not hungry. I am. And I'm just accepting that and then moving on with my day. You know, it's kind of one of those things that it's okay to be hungry. Other than that, obviously I had the stag do last weekend, which is why there hasn't been a video last weekend. That was definitely a challenge, but something that I know I mentioned previously in this video, but I'm very proud that I managed to navigate that and keep my bodybuilding present enough for me, you know? And I think it just goes to show that one of my whole things throughout this process as a first timer is I really don't want to lose myself to the sport. It's something that Josh Croggan, who, if you don't know Josh, go and find out about him. Obviously, him and Tom do the Board Shorts and Banter podcast. I would highly recommend that for anyone who's into bodybuilding, natural bodybuilding, especially if you're a first timer. I think the ethics towards bodybuilding that both those guys show, it's definitely something that speaks to me quite personally. And Josh said in a recent episode, you know, bodybuilding is something that should be enjoyed, not endured. And that really like came through to me because that's me down to a T. I don't want to do this sport and have it take away from my family life, my relationship, my friendships, and any other hobbies and interests that I have outside of bodybuilding. I don't want it to be like, okay, for me to be successful in this sport, I have to become a robot. That's not who I am. And I appreciate, you know, you have to make sacrifices. That's definitely part of the sport. But last weekend was a good example for me and kind of proving my own methods that, you know, things are manageable. You can still turn up for people in your life. You can still be present and enjoy yourself just within a measured environment. So yeah, what I suppose has been going well within prep, training has been absolutely insane. I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm stronger than I was in my off season, and I think in most, like the biggest factor that has contributed to that is I'm so hyper aware that every single chance that I get on a working set now, it's like preserve muscle mass. And the mental side of training has really come through for me recently. I know that in this video, I'll probably play the clip like as a raw clip, to be honest. On the pendulum today, like I hit an all-time PR on there, and I just tapped in to like the mental side of training, which is something that I really am not that great at. I've got quite a busy mind, and it's hard for me to silence that sometimes. And like, I'm quite a placid person when it comes to my emotions. I rarely get overly excited. I rarely get overly upset or overly angry. So it's quite hard for me to channel that energy and put it towards the gym. And I tapped into that today. Yeah, we fucking downshifted, switched lanes and got into that place, which is, it is a magical place. The only other thing I compare it to is when you're running and you get the runner's high, like, which is another thing which is very rare for a lot of runners. But yeah, training in general, the mental side of things, and just almost placing that expectation on myself to do better than the week before has been a real precedent and at the forefront of my training. So been enjoying that. I think that's going to wrap it up for this week. And I don't know if this video is going to be entertaining to anyone. I don't know. Hopefully it's useful to some people. As I said at the start of the last video in this series, it's more a personal diary, let's call it. It's a video diary of my prep, and trying to almost talk about the things that I would have wanted someone to be speaking about whilst I was in my off season last year. But yeah, hopefully there were some enjoyable elements to it. Bit of a boring weekend. All I'm going to do with the rest of my weekend now is make content, train again tomorrow, help my mum and her boyfriend move house, and that's about it. Spend some time with Izzy. So I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you enjoyed it.